Hey guys, welcome back. What you just heard here is a single cylinder Briggs & Stratton engine on a lawn tractor. I suspect it's got head problems as usual. So what I'm going to do here is pop the valve cover. We're going to have a look in there and see what's going on. And hopefully it's not too complicated. And of course that's what it is. Look at this. So what I'll do here is take off the spark plug. It makes it easier to spin that engine over by hand. Okay, so the lash is way out of whack here. Look at this. It is so loose. We've even lost the small cap. And that small cap is right here. You want to make sure that this little cap did not end up inside the engine. So this goes right here. And always double check that the other valve still has the cap on. It's still on the stem here. Alright, so I'm trying to take this off, but the whole bolt is turning. And that's the original problem as to why this all happened, is the entire bolt that holds the rocker arm actually unscrews itself from inside the head here, as you can see. So I'm just going to hold it on, and now I can undo this nut out of here. And now with the deep socket, I'm just going to tighten this up. Now just use common sense here, just get it on there fairly tight. And what you want to do is check the bolt at the bottom here, because you don't want to repeat at the bottom. We're all good down there. Okay, now what you want to do is make sure that the push rod is in good condition. So pull it out, make sure it's straight. When you put it back in, you want to make sure it goes in the proper slot on the inside. You'll see inside a nice hole where the rod fits right in there. And a good way to make sure you have it in properly, which I always check, is you put it in where you believe it's going to go, and then you spin the engine over. If it does not go up and down like this, then it's not in properly, so just pull it back out. And realign it properly. It's more so toward the top. At the back you'll see the proper spot for this. And if I spin the engine over, you'll see the rod move up and down. Keep your finger on it. See, now it's going up and down. So I'll make sure it's in the down position here. I will put the rocker back on. Make sure the push rod here goes right in this part. Now get this back on, and now we want a lash of between 3 to 5 thousandths between the valve stem and the rocker arm. So what I'll do at this point is make sure this valve here is in the open position, so it's going to be pushed down, which I think it already is. There it is. So what that does is it releases the pressure on this valve so that I can get an accurate adjustment. So now what I'll do is turn out the Torx screw on the inside. By the way, you need a Torx T20 screwdriver for the small tightening bolt on the inside. So if you turn out the screw, you can screw this whole part in, and then that will tighten up the valve, the rocker here, give you less lash. So what I'll do now is I've got my feeler gauge, a 0.004 thousandths of an inch blade here. I'm just going to feel it in, and you want it to go in there snug, not tight or loose, just snug. So I'll just tighten it in. So if you turn this nut in, It makes the lash between the rocker arm and the valve stem smaller. If you turn the bolt out, it makes the lash bigger. So once you have it at the desired setting, hold this nut here with your 16mm wrench and then tighten up that little torque screw. Now you've got your valve lash. I always double check it. So it's snug in there. It's not too tight, but it is snug. And what I also do is I'll turn the engine over a few times to watch the valve open and close. Once this one is open or pushed down, I recheck the lash. And we're all good. Now I'm going to make sure this one is pushed down or open, and I will check the lash here. This one, the gap is a little too big. So what I will do here is just loosen the torque screw. I've actually turned in the nut just a bit. And again, I'll do a few revolutions and recheck the gap. I'll make sure this one is open or pushed down. Perfect. These valves are set correctly. This engine here will start right away and run perfectly. I'm pretty sure of that. Now, as you saw here, when you take off the overhead valve cover on these engines nowadays, they don't have a gasket, it's just silicone. So I'm going to clean that off and clean the old silicone from here. And then I put on an actual gasket here. And the part number for that gasket is 272475S. It's much better to put a gasket, guys. Clean it all up, which is what I'm going to do. I'll show you how to do that right now. Now to clean it off on the engine, I'm using a 2-inch roll-lock pad. This is a 3M Scotch-Brite pad actually. Make sure to wear safety glasses. And when I clean it off, I position this so that the old silicone shoots away from the engine, not on the inside. So watch your rotation. You don't want to go like this on the top because it's going to shoot all down. So what I do is I go like this, it'll go all up and out of the way. Now I'll spray a bit of brake cleaner to clean everything up here. Now this one here, I will just clean that outside here on my wire wheel. It keeps the dirt out of the shop. Clean this up with the brake cleaner again. Now, even though I'm using a gasket, I'm still putting a bit of sealer. I'm actually using Honda Bond today here. It just gives an extra layer of protection. I hate to send something off to a customer and then there's a minor leak that annoys them and then I got to do it back for free basically. So I like to do it so it does not come back in the shop. So I'll put this gasket here. It'll stick to it. And there can still be drops of oil that will leak even though you've cleaned it. And I've also put a thin film on the cover as well. Make sure that the OHV is in the correct position. If you put this cover upside down, it's extremely hard to get your model and code number after if you need parts. So what I've done here is I have my impact set at the lowest setting. I'll just screw these in a diagonal pattern. And then I'll just lightly hand tighten them up. I don't know the exact torque specs, but just use common sense and have them on there snug to just a bit tightened up. And that's all there is to it. I'm just going to let the sealer settle in a bit, then I will come back and start up the machine here. And I almost forgot to reinstall the plug here. Alright, so I'm going to try out the machine here and hopefully that works. Great, I was pretty confident on this one. This is what I see most of the time. Sometimes it's a little more problematic, but I got off easier on this one. I do have other videos where I take off the head, do the head gasket, etc. and all that stuff, so I will put those in the video description. Also, when you do this job here, and you've taken the cover off, a lot of oil may leak directly on the muffler. That's why I had a piece of cardboard and a rag there. So what may happen when you start up the machine after is it's going to smoke, and that's the oil that dripped on the muffler that is burning off from the heat. So run it for 5-10 minutes like that. The smoke should clear away, go away after it's all burnt from the muffler. But anyways, I hope this video has helped you out. If it has, please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.